I see. They're a symbol of a greater dysfunction.
I think so.
Evil.
If someone is a murderer, you can pretty much bet that they are a jaywalker, and they are.
Hold on, that is amazing.
I mean, I don't know.
Hello and welcome to This Is Watar. Why are we talking about rabbits? Rabbits are things that jump around on the internet. Sometimes they make a lot of sense, but they go down these rabbit holes. When they do, well, we should probably let them go. We didn't do heavy things lightly on Watar. Philosophy, I don't know, theology, history. We're going to look at old world, new world ideas. Today, a new world man extraordinaire. Uncle Seth is back. We're going to talk about abortion, which he calls smamortion, because, well, just listen to him. We're going to talk about the idea of cancellation. And in particular, we're going to talk about an event that happened where a restaurant, well, it's gone bye-bye now because of some things that the owner did while in a Uber. And then we're going to talk about some comments made by Seth on this very show. This is Watar. This is Uncle Seth does the Monsters Ball. So we're back. You know, I feel like we took a break, but it wasn't that long. It feels like we haven't seen each other in a while. Are you doing good in Chicago?
I'm great. Things are really peachy keen over in Chicago.
Like,
life has been good.
When have you ever said peachy keen? That's not a phrase I feel like you've said a lot. Do you say that a lot?
No, not really. But I feel like
that for our audience
podcast. Yeah, I feel like you guys are more traditionalists. I'm going to really pepper my bits with some. I'm going to say, hey, from soup to nuts. Okay, this is really I'm going to cover everything tonight from soup to nuts.
That's you going old school, soup to nuts.
Yeah.
So you went all the way back to like 1954.
Yeah. And tonight's going to be no Swiss picnic either. So be ready.
No, it's not actually, because I'm going to read from the interweb an article that you sent me somewhere along the line between the last 6 weeks. And then we're going to also take a look at abortion. This one's, I don't know.
This is a good one. We must talk about it.
Watar people, talk about it. I want to already apologize. The whole thing's going to be a mess. I don't think so, though. I think you're pretty articulate on this. Well, honest. How about that?
Yeah, right.
You're freakishly honest about
definitely honest.
Yeah, we'll do that.
We'll see. Who are you apologizing to? Are you apologizing for me or for you?
I feel like it's you, but we're not there yet. So maybe I won't apologize. By the way, nice lighting tonight. People can see you. People seem to want to see you. I'm like, it's tricky. I don't know.
Sound good. Yeah.
No,
it's not as good as it sounds.
So they can identify you in a lineup. All right, here's the last thing. And then we're going to go to comments because there's some doozies out there. Pretty hot.
Okay, great.
All right.
We missed this last time.
Yeah, we did. We missed it last time. Okay, so here's the first thing we want to talk about on Watar's Uncle Seth episode. Uncle Seth and the monster ball that he's going to throw tonight. It's about a meme you sent me. It wasn't a meme. It's just an article. I'm going to read the headline. Rideshare driver praised after refusing ride to Catasauqua bar owner and companion over racist comments. Now, where is Catasauqua? Did you get the location?
Pennsylvania. I think it's Pennsylvania.
Oh, they have purported racists in Pennsylvania. Isn't that north? Aren't you usually picking on my southern friends when it comes to racism?
You guys are everywhere.
Wait, how come I'm in? What? All right. The video. Yes, racists are everywhere.
Right. And I mean, I don't mean that you're a racist, but I mean,
my people tend to lean that way.
People tend to lean that way. Yes.
That's tough though. Boy, already
no
right now.
To anybody, I know. Sorry. I'll do the apologizing this time. Sorry, everybody out there. I'm not necessarily calling you guys racist, but be honest with yourselves. Your people are the ones. Is that fair to say?
I guess. First of all, anytime someone says I'm not necessarily, but that's correct. You chose to do that. That's correct.
Right.
The video is shocking enough. This is the article you sent me. The video is shocking enough at the outset. Then it takes an even uglier turn. Outside Fossil's Last Stand, which used to be a bar until this article was published.
A thriving bar.
Outside Fossil's Last Stand, a bar in Catasauqua, a woman identified as bar owner Jackie Harford. I'm sorry, Jackie. Well, maybe not. Maybe you deserve it. That's what we're going to talk about. Climbs into the back of a ride-sharing car, sees the driver, and expresses surprise. Here's what she says, Uncle Seth. This person who gets into the ride-share car says, "Wow, you're like a white guy." And then the comment in the video, which has been taken down, sparks a back and forth. And, well, it's appalled, as the article says, and enraged thousands of people who've shared the video online. And basically, just jumping ahead, what happens is the driver, Bode, is taken aback. And he says, "Excuse me, a regular guy?" "Yeah, you're like a normal guy," says the woman getting in the car, Harford. "You speak English." And then it all kind of goes haywire. She laughs. To wear her. Yeah. She laughs. She pats the driver, Bodie, on the shoulder and says, sorry. But he tells her the comment was inappropriate and orders her out of the car. Then the woman's male companion, who's now joining, well, he adds a little, what should we say? He adds a little spark to the fire. He says, "You're an effing a-hole. And then I should punch you in the effing face." And then he adds
the hard R.
He goes, hard R word. And says, "What are you, an effing hard R N-word lover?" How have we all learned to make that word into like 20 different abbreviations? Like we've learned it. It's right. Pretty incredible.
Well, because we're not allowed to say it. So we had to come up with alternatives to get that word across.
Which in turn, won't we just be saying it and then someone will say, right. Don't say that?
Yeah.
All right.
And we'll come up with something else.
So you and I are tasked. It's a good task. We're tasked with sorting this out, old world, new world, or really friend to friend, or I'm not standing up for the red states. I don't do that, but you're going to make me do it probably or something.
Well,
what do you want to say about that? Why did you send that to me?
Oh, that's right. I came across this and it had just kind of come out, and there was a campaign on Reddit to really blow up their Yelp. So it turns out the people that were getting into the car owned this bar, and now they, Yelp people have really put them down, and they had to take down their Yelp accounts. And when I read it, I just thought about when we did that podcast on cancellation, and we were talking about what is cancellation. Right. And, we talked about cancellation versus consequences, and there's just always another thing. So I always am thinking about when we talked about it and your views on that. So I sent that to you, and you can tell them, I honestly asked you, is this cancellation?
Yeah, you did.
I was asking seriously, not trying to...
Guys, semi-snark. I don't even think there was any snark in that. I think there was
no snark in this, and so I just kind of am interested in this. Are these people being canceled? And more than that, what is in somebody to cancel?
Right.
What does that mean to us? And so I like that it's Monsters Ball tonight, because at some point it's like a party.
Well, I'm going to give you, here's your part. Here's a response that might lead to a word party.
Yeah.
I sent you a little podcast piece from the Lord of Spirits. I think a lot of people out there who listen to Watar probably have heard that, the Father Andrews. And basically, it's because the same time you sent me that, I was listening to this podcast. And as an Orthodox old East guy, from the East guy, I heard a monster in your article. The monster is this Horford person who gets in the car. There's something about her that's not right. I think for me, but also for the driver, clearly, and then all the hundreds and thousands of people that canceled them or not. And I had this response, the same one as Father Andrew Young, and he basically says that in the tradition known as Christianity, you're not supposed to burn the bodies of the poisoned. You're supposed to love them enough to pull the poison out. Like if it was a snake bite, Seth, if you were bitten by a snake, I think I would run over and put my mouth on the snake bite. I mean, as long as it's on your arm.
Where was I bitten? Slow down, brother. That's another podcast.
But metaphorically, I think I should draw out the venom. Yeah. I mean, again,
that's the Christian in you. That's right.
Yeah.
That's
and then later on, maybe go, oh no, he's a monster, but maybe not ever. So my response was that plus this one, and then I'll give it to you. I'm dying to hear what you say about this because Mr. New World, because this is really interesting. My second response was like, how many times have you gone into a greedy person's business or house? Mm-hmm. And you're like, wow, that guy's really focused on his next raise. Do you like Yelp on? Do you do a Yelp review of him? Like,
well, no.
All he ever did was talk about money. I hate that guy. Guy's greedy guy over here at 311 Yellow Fox Lane. Burn him.
Yeah.
Like greed seems to get off the hook. Or how about arrogance?
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of your sins, sins in your tradition, get off the hook. I didn't make it like that, you'll get canceled or, whatever we're going to call it. Your people will come down on my people for certain things, but let other things go. In fact, obviously we've talked about the abortion thing has come up. That's one thing people will go to the wall for on your part, but other things that are mentioned in the 10 commandments not to do are just like, don't worry about that.
We're good.
And then and that didn't even make the commandments. When God was handing down these commandments, he was choosing between aborting unborn kids or honoring father and mother or taking
thou shalt not kill might fall under that one.
Fine. That was, but still, think about this. There's a cafeteria mentality, I think, for everybody. For me, I will not cancel over greed. I will cancel over racism.
Remember when you got canceled at that once KP dinner because you were calling it marriage, but you weren't married, and then you got canceled?
Yes. Yeah, I got canceled at that dinner. Exactly right.
We won't name the state, that dinner, Wisconsin.
Yeah. All of a sudden at that dinner, that's a cancelable offense,
You were kind of going between my wife and then they found out you weren't married. And then, there was a couple cancel moments. Yeah. That was hot.
But I will say that, those people, at least in that instance, they did try to suck the venom out.
They were coaching. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, they were coaching. But you know what happens is that any better than
this is a great question.
I don't think so. I think it's the exact same thing. One is just designed to make you feel better, that you tried to save somebody.
Do you mean it's judgment? It's judgment either way?
For sure. Yeah, for sure. And what I think yours is even less sincere, because at least in the case of this pizza guy, the mob was coming to make him lose his business, essentially.
I think it happened.
Stop a guy from profiting in one place in their life if they're a really shitty person in another place of their life. And your people were trying to change my definition and really
coach you up,
coach me up and really cancel me in a place in my life that I'm happy, and convince me that, you know what I mean? Like to cancel out a thing that they didn't like about my life.
Well, I think it's fair to say they didn't ask you to leave the dinner. They didn't come for you. Like they were trying to convince you. But would you have called those? Okay, so what happened, guys? We were doing a KP dinner, which check out our restaurant. We were doing a KP dinner, KP restaurant in Greenville.
Plug something in.
Plug.
Have we doing crawl at the bottom of the screen right now.
Andrew, put KP. A crawl in there.
3507 Greenbrier Road.
Half off on KP's this week. Listen, and you were doing a cool toast and you did something like, and basically what happened, guys, is a few people, not everybody at the dinner, tried to ask him more questions about his quote wife. And then he admitted, yeah, that's not actually my wife. I'm not married. And then there was a conversation,
it's not that I made it an admission that means that I was trying to hide.
They bled it out of you.
Yeah, that's right. There was no admission. As we've talked about many times on this thing, I call my life partner, my wife, and whatever. And so it just came out. So go ahead.
Yeah, my people, I'll own this one. My people always find it odd when your people call their people their wives, but it's not their wife.
Yeah.
On the other hand, what is your marriage to me? That's very interesting. I'm not.
Yeah.
I don't need to judge your marriage, I guess, on one level.
Well, and that's the weird thing. They think that you guys think that you do own the idea of something, which you don't,
yeah, I respect that. I get that. All right, because so go back to the monster effect. Do you think I'm being Pollyannish when I don't get why you'd be upset
when you want to save this guy?
Well, so let's put this the venom out. Like that was the point of Father DeYoung was we're supposed to love people because you, like them, are infiltrated with various forms of poison and
absolutely
destruction and evil.
Yeah.
So why can't you see it in the other person? Why did they come for their business?
Well, I think
basically,
right. I think and that's the whole point, is that I think in this case, his transgression was of the sort that you have no, at least you feel like you have no hope of sucking out the venom. And I don't want that venom even in my mouth before I spit it out, And so what he said is just so abjectly dirty. And actually, I'm going to say the S word again, stupid. You know what I mean? Like,
no, this is always the weirdest angle with you.
I'm sorry. I just
he was stupid and he must pay.
No. He is stupid, so he'll never learn. So you can't suck the venom out. You cannot suck the venom out. If he had said that at the KP I was at, how do you think what would have been the approach there? I'm interested in hearing.
So he goes effing N lover at the KP?
Yeah, correct.
Which could happen. I mean, I don't know why it would, but it could.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to give you old world Eastern Christian proper understanding is, oh, look, someone just dropped a big sin bomb. And then they are already either one, feeling the shame of their sin bomb, or two, have no idea, or some variation on naivete, or how about this? Unseen sin. They're not aware of it. And so my response is to love. Now I'm giving you straight. I'm giving it straight. My response is to love. Remember Christ? Forgive them, for they know not what they do. How come that's not the response of the
Yeah,
Yelp mob?
No. Okay, but it's a nice platitude. But tell me specifically, what is your response to love? So how does that look in that moment?
Let's call him Charlie. I don't know.
Hey, we don't say
Charlie.
things like that. Let's try not to, we're all one people.
Actually, it might
Charlie,
sound something like, "Hey, Charlie, whoa, Charlie, whoa, Charlie, what's with the N-word? Why isn't that enough? Right there. Oh, whoa.
Because are you trying to suck out the venom, or are you trying to diffuse a situation? Saying, whoa, because Charlie's going to then say, oh, sorry about that, and then go on with the evening. Okay. So you didn't suck any venom out. Are you really trying to help this man or not?
Well, okay. So then I think
you saved the situation.
I'm responding to you with this. I'm responding to you as if trying to fashion a sense of justice that you're okay with. So here's the next justice fashion moment.
I don't know that. I'm okay with it. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you okay so far with my response at the dinner? If Charlie with F and N word on you?
Whoa. Right.
Whoa, Charlie, bro, what's happening with that word? That word's really dehumanizing. And what it does to the table is it takes all the love and joy out of the table. And now we're all wondering, like, are you ill? Like, are you okay? And so far, how am I doing am I doing justice?
It's okay. No, it's okay. So far you have handled the situation. And
now Charlie comes back hard. What if Charlie comes back hard? Like, yeah, here's the deal, man. Here's the deal. Some people are just stupid, and the effing ends that I've met are stupid. No, now what? Now do we Frankenstein them? Do we get the torches?
I don't know what you do. You're telling
me.
What
do you do to Charlie? And let's say he's brought a date. So far, she's silent.
First of all, I turn to Charlie's date and say, "Baby, you can do better than him."
So I get it. That's a Charlie slap. That's a hard one.
That's slap at Charlie. Yo, I know that's a slap at Charlie, because Charlie needs to learn that in the same way that I gave my daughters a timeout when they were growing up. In the same way, yeah, Charlie's getting a timeout. He's not going to
like a timeout.
No,
go ahead.
Not.
Maybe he's going to do.
We took away the spanking. It's no longer PC to spank. So I've got to find some timeouts. Now, you want to have this restorative justice conversation, which that's fine. I think there's a time and place for that. Sure. And in schools, this is the go-to method of handling kids these days is restorative justice, which I like a lot of it. And sometimes it don't work. And you have to understand that every case takes something different. If you're
is restorative justice forgiveness?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
like moving the bad person toward confession or something.
I think it's just as much moving the victim toward forgiveness.
Oh, that's interesting. What you're saying?
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking the offender. We're moving the offender closer and closer to something like what I did was wrong. Forgive me.
Oh, yeah. I think you're trying to move them both toward it, which is fine. But what I'm saying is that at some point you teach, and you know this, or else you're not a good teacher, and you're a great teacher. So you know that you give the student what they need as much as you can.
Yeah.
We don't try to do a lecture for every kid if that doesn't work.
Right.
Do something else. And so it's it may not be the case, but it seems that somebody would say hard R lover is a type of person that that's out on the fringes, man. That's even on the racist fringes.
Right.
That person restorative justice is not going to work for that person.
Okay.
And so the question is, if you're saying, is it my job?
Oh, wait, did you just say restorative justice will not work for that person? Is it because of their deep fringe, their far fringe?
I think because of their to get to a point where you would say something that vile,
they're cooked.
They're cooked, and so you're not catching them on there's not a continuum where or there is a continuum, and he's out here.
He's out there.
Over here is you start to notice that people are different. Right around here is where you make fun of Indian people for having smelly food in apartments. And over here is where you're saying the N-word. Right. Just to random people. And I've said this before on this cast. The real insult about being spoken to or having racist language used in front of me has never been that I'm so offended by the word itself. I'm offended that you think I'm like you, that you're so comfortable to say something like that in front of me, that you've judged me to be somebody who is cool with that. That's really, that hurts.
I see. But as you're a brown person, or I think people could perceive you as brown. That would really hurt, I guess, at that point. But like for us white people, we should be really pissed because they gave up the secret white sauce to me and threw me under their white.
That's right.
Their white nationalist band.
Part of the cabal. Yeah.
So I should be doubly pissed that I'm now.
I would be. I think I would be.
But go back to this fringe concept. By the way, that's funny. That's funny. Some dude's like, dude, I know you're gonna love this kimchi. And you're like, I effing hate kimchi, bro. Don't think I'm like I eat kimchi, and you're like, wow, I didn't think you were like that. But if he says the effing N-word to me, then I should be like triple pissed, like triple.
He has judged you to be someone of his ilk, and
it's like like the Asian sort of the disregard for Asian food, and I'm like, I'm okay, but I should be really pissed that he threw me under the N-word bus. It's so weird what you're doing
there. I think there's a difference there. You don't think the fact that you don't think that's a difference. If someone assumes I eat kimchi is not the same as someone assuming I'm a racist.
Right. Like I'm mad they put me in their crew. Okay. But here's a weird thing. Okay. I think people would want to know this answer from you, Mr. New World.
Okay.
Raskolnikov in Crime and Punishment, murdered an old lady, like he killed her, and then and also killed her her granddaughter, or I forget, it's her cousin, like this young one, and he made a comeback. That's super weird.
He was rehabilitated.
You must hate like the murder ward at the local state prison. Like, are you pissed at them? I hate that murder ward. Yeah. They're not coming back. Like they don't, but I have a feeling that's not true for you. I think you could I think you'd take those dudes in for a week and like teach them stuff at school. I think you would.
I don't know. I haven't thought about it. Here's what I think
they're like.
Would do.
You just
I would take person. Them. I might take them in for a week, but as soon as they started
murder jokes.
Well, that's the whole thing. You know what I mean? Have they really changed? Do you think that those people, if at your dinner, you can diffuse the temperature of the situation, but you didn't suck any venom out of some racist guy. He didn't go home that night and say, John really made me understand that we are one people. I don't believe that. I don't believe that.
So that's a really bad. Now, by the way, I just want to agree with something. That's not a nice. That's a nasty. There's a nasty spot in that person's invisible inside their soul. There's something that's not pleasant. I'm with that. What I'm trying to get at is when does the person become a burnable monster? Like. It feels like that dude's a werewolf to you. Like he's really out there.
Well, I think this is how insidious that is that the disease of being that monster then spreads to you, because then you become the monster that wants to tear him down, burn him at the stake.
Yeah.
And, and so actually maybe if you shifted back to what you were saying about the clip you sent, about,
the Lord of Spirits
really,
clip. Yeah.
Yeah. Digging up the body.
Excuse me.
But I think that
did I just burp?
Oh,
I'm really sorry about that. Andrew.
Okay. He'll cut that.
That was
now maybe
terrible.
it's my time. I should say something really stupid here so that he has a good excuse to cut it or leave that.
Everything's lightly. I don't know what happened, Andrew. I didn't burp. I was listening intently to you, but go ahead. So wait, I interrupted you, but the Lord of Spirits guys, by the way, you heard the clip when Father DeYoung is basically saying, where's the mercy even for the monster? Like, what's your response to that? Is it a little?
I say that I want to be that person too. Just because I'm a new worlder, I believe that a lot of people think that old worlders think that there is no tendency or drive to forgiveness, because you think out in this nihilist wasteland, we don't care, and that's not true. And I hope I've at least. I wouldn't have proved it, but I hope I've expressed that many times over this podcast. How many times I've been on, is that it's not this kind of wasteland you think it is. I do want to help people. I do want them to become better. I do want to be responsible for having sucked out venom. I desperately do, and I'm a teacher, for God's sakes.
True.
I'm working toward doing that thing, but. As a teacher, I'm not going to waste a month of lessons on the War of 1812. If somebody's not learning about the War of 1812, I'm going to change the lesson. Now, the War of 1812, it's almost as objectionable as racism.
In other words,
I don't love teaching that either. I don't love teaching that either.
So, but I see. So there's something objectionable, and
there is
not worthy of time in that dude's phraseology, in his hateful.
Yeah, I think what happened is the monster in the cab, or in the Uber, who is the driver. I think there's a bunch of monsters in the cab. The woman who got in is the original monster.
Mm-hmm.
The guy in the cab didn't actually try to ruin them. He just said, please step out of the cab. And he did it nicely. I watched.
Right, he wasn't canceling at that point.
Yeah, no. They took the video off. I'm sure you can find it somewhere online. You guys should watch it at home. People at home, you should watch it. It's not that huge of a deal, but you can see the way it goes down. He says, you know what? I don't want to have you take you on this ride if you could just get out. And she's like, what? Are you serious? And that's when her husband comes up, and that's where that's the pod of monsters now. And what happens then is,
I like that phrase, a pod of monsters,
a clutch, or I don't know. We have to have
a monster clutch
for these people. Yeah, it's like a coven.
There's a gaggle of monsters.
A murder. It is actually a murder.
Right at that point, so, it might as well be a murder. I got it.
If it's a murder, so these murderer monsters now you can see it oozing over to the guy in the front, and he's now become diseased. And so he's like, hey, I got this on. I got a camera right here. Because the guy starts popping off about, you and all this, and he's like, well, I got it on camera and now I'm going to blow it up. And so he releases it. And then,
he says that on the video. I didn't see that in the transcript.
Yeah. He said, well, I'll let people know you're going to.
What's their response? Do you remember?
Well, at one point, like right toward the end, he says something about, are you the owners here? So he's already wise to their connection to this place they're coming out of.
Uh-oh.
And so then he smells it, like they picked the wrong,
Uber driver.
time to, yeah.
Okay, I have a question. Is the going after their business something like going after Frankenstein's weakness with fire? Like, is it?
Yeah, in a way.
Is it like, are they trying to get him to scream like, oh no? Like, is it because money is like known to us as valuable?
They tried to civilize the monster. They tried to suck the venom out.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Remember his then he drowned that little girl. Frankenstein was like, hey, let's have a flower party. Oops.
Right. A tea party. Yeah, that's right. And so I don't feel good necessarily that this guy is going to lose his business, but I do understand that the cancellation is a sort of a power check. If you're against somebody that has aggrieved you, or you feel like there's something there, somebody in a position of power, you have no other choice if you want to strike back than to hit them in their power. If you see what I'm saying, if somebody were getting into that cab and it was somebody marginalized in society that nobody cares about,
so they hit
all
back.
Life is precious, by the way.
What was that last phrase?
I said all life is precious, by the way. So I'm just setting us up for later on when the Shmamortion.
I was just about to turn it to the Shmamortion conversation, but before we do, hold on. So I guess here's the question. 2 questions. Then we don't have to finish because there's a million interesting ideas here. Number 1, are all monsters redeemable? And then 2, are you monstrous? And what part of you should I give slack to? What part of you should I try to save? Your arm, your leg? So what do you think about those 2 questions?
Good question. I love those questions. I think 100% I am a monster. Absolutely. And I think anybody that is rational has to be honest with themselves, and to say that I'm without sin is like crazy. I can't do that. Obviously, I'm a monster. Does it?
I'm going to burn you. Just tell me which part. I'm pissed. Okay, keep going. I'm sorry.
So I mean,
okay, so you're a monster. I'm cool. That's definitely a Christian concept, which is, hold on, the smote.
Okay. Do I deserve to be taught a lesson? Sure.
Oh, sure. Good.
Sure.
Okay, so then how are you different from the owners that got in that cab and all hell broke loose? You just didn't do you did a different monstrous activity?
Well, I'm different in that there are some things you can do that, to me, sort of like mean that you are doing a lot of things you shouldn't be doing.
I see. They're a symbol of a greater dysfunction.
I think so.
Evil.
If someone is a murderer, you can pretty much bet that they are a jaywalker, and they are.
Hold on, that is amazing.
I mean, I don't know.
That's why we have you on, because that was actually brilliant. If someone's a murderer, you can bet they're a jaywalker. I would agree with that, actually.
Yeah. So, and everything in between. So you see what I'm saying? And so,
okay, keep going.
I mean, let's put it this way. Your side, I don't think, is any more qualified or any more insistent on sucking venom out than my side is.
Okay, you got
Then my side is in just wanting to dig up bodies. I don't believe so.
Uncle Seth, it's time for a quick advertisement from one of our sponsors. Can we cut into that real quick? Can we stop talking for a second, Uncle Seth, and
sure,
let Andrew cut in?
Got to pay the rent.
Got to pay the rent. Got to pay the bills. To all of you who are interested in First Things, I am pledging that we will do everything we can in our power to feed you delicious food at KP Restaurant. And if you live far away, you're not in South Carolina, Greenville, just come. Spend a weekend. Yeah, because we're going to have something called the KP Retreat. That's coming up where we take you up to Appalachia, show you around. We're going to have KP Journeys this summer. We're trying to get one brewed up for Georgia right now if you want to go. We can go to West Africa and soon East Africa, and we can take you to Guatemala. Yes, that's right. We can also get you onto our Watar Pod course, where if you end up as a monthly donor, we have a lot of fun talking about philosophy. And I would ask you all to support First Things. Go to www.first-things.org. Become a monthly donor. It's the greatest thing you could do. We want to double and, if possible, triple by the end of the year our regular monthly donors. We can do it and literally take care of a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. We help people in local areas that you would call impoverished build their best dream for something like what they would call, right, a better life. That's so fascinating. So I'm going to assert something.
Okay.
And we don't have to argue about it, but we can. I actually just disagree with you. I think the Christian inclination, when taken seriously by a collection of people, say, found at a church. Now, hold on. There's plenty of Christians that are going to get the torches, including Christians I know, probably me. But what I'm saying is the inclination to see myself as the first among the sinners is at least in the water. And I would argue you're a weird exception to your own people's rule. I think if you let it rip, your people let it rip in their true colors, like they let it rip. In other words, they lived exactly the evolutionary I'm an animal life. The right answer is to burn that dude in that cab and burn everybody else that gets in the way of what they see as a good life. I think it's just monkey time at that point. It's just a battle of nature. If you really lived according to your principles, that's what I think. What do you think about that?
Yeah. Well, unfortunately for you, your people do not live according to their principles. So when we do the data, it ends up wash. Now, if you're saying, if it's like the people, I know your side always hates people that say, these leftists are always talking about, well, communism was never done correctly, and in its correct form.
And I'm going to say Christianity was never done correctly.
It's all right. You love that.
Hold on. We have a Hall of Fame. Let me ask you this: if I put our Hall of Fame against your Hall of Fame, first of all, I don't know what your Hall of Fame would look like. Is it like J.D. Rockefeller? Who's the
Jonas Salk? Jonas Salk.
Oh Lord, really?
Oh, you love the polio vaccine. You've told me.
Okay,
I
think Jonas Salk would be one. Okay, if we put our Hall of Fame against your Hall of Fame, because see, the question is not how bad I can fall. The question is how high can I climb on this ladder toward divine ascent? So your divinity or something like your godly ascent ends in something like a Hall of Fame. And I don't know who your Hall of Fame is, but I can tell you.
I don't know who your Hall of Fame. Yeah.
Okay. I'm ready to rip. Saint Seraphim of Seraph.
No, wait. Whoa. Before because I won't know everybody.
Google.
No, I believe it. I won't know who they were. So I'd like you to say the name and then tell me what they did that earned them sainthood. And then I'll do mine. So Jonas Salk saved 50 million people.
But they all died. Right?
Okay,
Eventually.
Fine. But then, fine.
Sorry.
So tell me your things. What your guys did.
Saint Seraphim of Seraph taught this lesson and also lived it. Save your own soul. In other words, become illumined, and thousands around you will be also illumined. And it's a fact. it's happened. It's happened. Many people who came in contact with him.
Didn't Jesus teach that lesson?
Yeah. Well,
okay. So
that's the whole idea, is all the saints are actually just reproductions or symbolos, icons of all.
So you've got, right. So you have one person in
correct variations on the same, right? I mean, I could keep going. We could Saint John of Shanghai or Saint John Maximovich, this cat, but each of them is doing this weird thing where they're emulating some version of the one of Christ. And so I don't know what your people are doing, something like saving lives with technology. Is that what the Hall of Fame looks like? Like, because everybody kept dying. All the people they saved kept dying. So I don't really get how they win.
Your people keep dying as well. And there's no chance that they're going on to something that my people aren't.
Here's the cool thing. Your phrase is not true. There is a chance you just don't scientifically have it written down in a way.
True. And there's just as good of a chance. That's true. And I'll say that's absolutely. Is there just as good a chance that it's a dirt nap? It's a dirt nap. Will you grant me that there's just as much, but your side always thinks you know just a little bit more because you feel it from faith. My ass.
He said, Andrew, he said my ass like a white guy. That was a serious white guy, my ass. My ass. You gotta black that out.
You take that back. That's not the lowest.
I'll take that back.
Take that out. Cut that out.
I want to apologize for that. That was a harsh rip. I'm a monster for saying that.
John, please tell me that there is just as much chance that I am right. And if you can't say that,
don't feel like that's true.
I know you don't feel that way.
Well, like, for instance, okay, this is a stupid conversation in a second, but let's just go on this road for a second until we get to another issue. But what evidence do you have that my chance is higher or lower? I mean, if you just look at human beings who have walked around on Earth, many billions more agree with what I'm trying to say than what you're trying to say. Like the evidence in terms of experiential reality is that many billions of more people have said there's something
believe. But they don't believe your story. They believe Horace. They believe in Horace.
Well, they believe that death is not the end.
Yeah, but
I mean, in other words, there's something.
Yeah. So you're saying, so you say that belief is reality. Perception is reality.
Well, I would say this, that perception indeed shapes reality, but it's not the only part of reality. Yeah, I would say that.
But you're acting as if it's a big part of reality because you're saying that the fact that billions of people have believed this means that I should live my life according to this.
Well, let me ask you this. Is it evidence to you? Evidence. In other words, is it something like suggestive of truth that most of human history is dominated by people who think life continues after death? Does that mean anything
for sure? Oh yeah, I think that's true.
I mean, because your blue
evidence has shown me that.
Yeah, your atheistic secularism is a tiny little speck in the history of.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is evidence of something. Right. Do you perk up when you hear that? Like, whoa,
what do you mean?
Wow, that's pretty freaky. So I might want to reconsider my dirt nap theory.
No, because I believe just as rightly as you that the machine that we are, the biochemical machine we are, wants in it to have some meaning beyond, a 75-year march to the dirt nap. And so we as a species have always constructed these types of things. Now, lo and behold, your guys came up with some kind of story for afterwards that mirrored every other story before this.
Well,
was,
you're
yeah, virgin birth. I mean, not everything, but virgin birth, all these types of things.
It's pretty unique that the creator died willingly for his creation. That doesn't.
But what about all the so
No.
could it be that? Wait, could it be that all those other stories, they took and adapted it and just added some other thing?
Well, there were one or two stories in the Mediterranean world, but most of the pagan, pre-Christian, pre-Jewish, pre-Islamic stories, the gods are powerful and they're smacking people around. I don't really agree, but we don't have to get into that. But
okay, but
it's a pretty unique story that the creator.
Fine. You guys came up with a unique story.
I love that came up with. Right now, there's I don't know how many people listen to this, 7 or 70,000. One never knows. I don't check. But I will say this. There's a lot of people right now came up with, and they're going to get into this screen and they're going to beat you silly and turn you into a monster.
You all were divinely inspired with the true gift and story. And so what do you say about those other people?
The people who are like you,
who came up with the story. So they came up with the story, but you guys were divinely inspired.
Oh, you're talking about, say, like the Norsemen and their Valhalla story.
Their story.
Okay, this is what I say. Hopefully mimicking or mimic. What's the word? Mimetically. I'm trying to stay in line with the thing that I believe. This is what I would say they're doing. There's intimations, there's impressions, there's a type of symbolism that is accurate in the attempt to explain our life as not ending with our bodily death. In other words, they're intimating reality, truth. And the Christian intimation is a full-blown explanation that everyone else was in some ways expressing, right? But not in its fullest form. How about that? Is that okay? In the same way, hold on. In the same way that you have historical knowledge in your classroom, and you have this whole continuum of kids. Some kids get really close to an expression of history the way you know it. Others become further away, but they're all expressing something like the importance of history, but you wouldn't call it all equally expressed history as you know it, as the leader knows it. There's a leader in your classroom, right?
So in other words, I let my class go on believing something for 98,000 years.
Yeah.
And then decide to drop the story on them after watching 98,000 years of suffering.
Yes. There is someone in your culture of education, in your classroom, there is someone ultimately that is expressing something closer to the reality. Correct. I agree. And that full expression is found in Christ. And so what does that mean? That's exclusionary. I mean, I hope you do realize that Michael Jordan's better at basketball than you, and therefore you become a weaker, emblematic basketball person. You are a lesser basketball expresser.
Because there's better people. Yeah,
because there's actually an ultimate expression of basketball, and Jordan comes close. Or if you're a LeBron, you're probably a LeBron person too, aren't you?
No way. No way.
See, that's you.
No. Don't believe him. He's trying to tar me, you guys.
What I'm saying is there's all these. Yeah, I do believe in order to have a continuum, in order to have a 21 on a scale of 100, you have to have an 100. And we all intimately understand the 100, even if we're not achieving it. It's it's a thing.
I understand. You in one corner of your mouth say, I believe, and the other corner says it's real.
Yeah, but you keep thinking real is material reality.
No, well, I'm not even talking about material reality. I want you to tell me that why you are more apt to be right than I would.
Well,
and you can't do that without saying you believe something just the way I believe it.
I agree. No, now we're into a type of dead end, but I'll just say this.
Okay.
Correct. There is nothing about my telling, my rational explanation to you that you should believe. There's only the fruits. And so I agree with this now. A fruitful Christian produces pleasure in the heart of others, or if you don't like pleasure, peace. And that's the only way to judge the life of a Christian. Now, that's all I got to tell you. I told you Dostoevsky, I told you this a million times, my favorite guy. He just says, look, my story is more beautiful. I'm drawn to it. It's just a gorgeous story. And that's why I believe. And you're like, yeah, but you don't have any evidence. He's like, what are you talking about? The evidence is in the beauty. And that's it. That's it. And then I shouldn't come for you. I shouldn't try to make laws to convince you of how beautiful my belief is. I should not do that.
As you've told me with vaccines, if it's a good idea, it sells itself.
Right.
Did you say that?
I don't think I should make laws to make you believe that abortion is wrong. It should be evident to you. And so how do I make it evident? By loving the old, the young, the suffering, the harsh, the guy in the cab, the monster. And you'll start to see that this kind of love, it washes over even the little fetus in the womb. And so you'll be convinced by the love that I have.
But in terms of the leak and the law, the perspective on how the law is, you don't agree with that.
Well, societies have to make laws. Right now, this is the part I don't agree with. This is the part that I'm nervous about. And okay, here we go. Right now, there's a group of Supreme Court justices who have started to think, remember, they're not talking about what a fetus is. They're talking about how a fetus should be understood in law. And they're saying a state should decide, not the federal government. So take that out of it. There's something about a fetus that has to be figured out by this society. And what I'm trying to say is, I don't think 49% or 51% should try to Rangoon the other 49% into Rangoon. Is that a word?
I was about to say, I think I had some of that for dinner. We might want to wrangle people.
Wrangle. They should Rangoon. I'm thinking of like a boating / Indian meal. I don't know what I'm thinking.
Deer hunter.
Were you like, wait a minute, is he talking about dinner? Okay, wait. I don't think it's advantageous for me to force you into something like believing. However, somebody's got to make laws, bro. So what do we do with that?
Yeah, for sure.
Somebody's got to make them.
You're right.
I want the law to come out of a consensus that's very clear because of the beauty of the believers. And so I think in a lot of Islamic countries where there's a majority of Muslims, the laws are Islamic because it's obvious to the culture that they should be that way, including, by the way, don't get mad at me, including you can't get married if you're gay. And in fact, you shouldn't even talk about it if you're gay. That's a Muslim concept of love that is overflowing out of the culture. I agree. You can hate that, but
I agree. But that's what's wrought when you have a culture built on religion. That's you're going to get.
Wait, on the Quran, can you say that instead of religion? Because you have a religion, and part of your religion is individual rights matter, and so I'm going to let a woman choose.
I mean, religion in terms of
God,
belief in God.
Why does that throw you guys off so badly? I mean, like I believe in I believe in having Sunday morning off for a nice walk with the New York Times. And I believe in God. Why do you guys go like, whoa, hold on a minute with the God stuff? How come your belief is like okay or something? I don't get that.
Because my walk is walking around. Yours is giving over control of everything you are and do to somebody to tell you how to do it. And I find that offensive. Yeah, I find that offensive.
So is God too big of an, it just covers too much ground, and that's why
No,
secular people get nervous about it?
I think secular people do not like the way the idea of God is used by people who are God fearing, and they use that to again, going back to it, make a worse world for people that don't believe in their God.
Okay, but wait, just work with me for this. To make something worse implies you know something better. So as soon as you do, right? You know of a world better than a world worse. Like you have a conception of that, right? Like, yeah. For instance, a world where women can't choose to have an abortion at any time is a worse world, right?
Is worse to me. That's right.
So you're asserting something about individual rights as good. You're placing something high up on the mountain, right at the peak, that says, "Don't F with that."
That I believe is good. And you put something up there as well.
I know, but how come when I say God, you're like, I don't know, like you come for me? I don't get that part. Because it's what? Why?
Because I see your side using that idea in order to absolve themselves of things that I think are sins.
Okay, we'll reverse it. I see your people using the idea of individualism, like a deep, profound independence from all things, to justify something like knocking off a fetus. Because let's just be honest, and Jonathan Pageau talks about this really nicely. You should check it out. I know that guy gets under your nerves, under your skin. Yeah. But what he's trying to say is that, no, oh boy, am I going to get canceled. When someone has an abortion or even argues for it, this could be a man, they're arguing that one thing must go away so that another thing can flourish, a type of sacrifice. And so one thing, let's just call it not a human. Let's call it a growing, non-sentient being. What is it?
Parasite.
It's okay. I'm cool with that. I mean,
okay, why not? What's wrong?
It's a parasite. The parasite must be sacrificed in order that the host may live its best version of itself.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you said yes, so that kind of sacrifice right there is built on the principle that the host has autonomy and independence, and it should be allowed to freely choose. And so you're elevating this idea of independence to this place where, why independence? I don't get it. Why does it get that high elevation? Why? I don't get it.
Because you are elevating yours as a way to just be hypocritical in everything
hold on. Hold on. You're my friend. Why is independence in that case for the women the highest value? I don't get it.
Well, I would say because I think you're right. Absolutely. We have elevated that to is just the same thing. I would say that I've elevated it because it is the way society works in the short amount of time we are here. We've already shown that there is no respect for human life. But now you're trying to take away
this argument.
You're trying to take away a woman's right to choose. So it really has nothing to do with respect for human life. Zero. Let's not.
So
it has nothing to do with that. Or else I'd see you out there fighting just as vociferously against sending people off to war as you are fighting here. But nobody's doing any of that kind of fighting. In fact, they're cheering these boys as they go off to certain death and to go kill brown people.
So you're saying it's like
their lives are worth nothing because that fits into their idea of the geopolitical structure. So life is not precious in that way, but life in a womb, that's precious.
So there's something about the inconsistency of the application of value that pisses you off.
I think that's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
Are you sure you're not just choosing one thing because you're conditioned to respect, because you don't want anybody telling you
what do you mean
what
choose
to do?
One thing. What thing?
Do you sure you're not just choosing, hey, I want to support a woman's right for abortion because I don't want anybody telling me what to do either?
Maybe. I think that it's a piece of it for sure. I think everybody who's been this raging individualist for the last 2 years is now going to tell me that, but it's different this time because it's a human life, while they piss on
other human lives
and other human lives, and all of a sudden they're staunch support soldiers for protection of human life. I think it's so
okay, but hold on,
pathetic.
I agree with that. Hold on, there should be consistency. I agree, but people aren't. But hold on, but your allowance of abortion, your irritation with these Supreme Court justices, it doesn't make sense, because I know you. You're a defender of the young. You teach them. You're a defender of the innocent. Why don't you just defend the innocent in the womb? What happened? How come you went all hypocrisy on that?
I don't know. I think you're bringing up that word innocent, and I don't think it's really is germane here, because nobody knows what that means. Why did people who end up being collateral damage, which everybody by the very definition are innocent, why is that innocence worth less than some other innocence of people who are not even born yet?
Well, hold on.
Why are people okay with that?
Well, you can't protest everything at all times. You can't just be in a constant 24-hour protest movement.
You can live your life. So listen, it's not about protesting. You can live your life with integrity. So that's doing the right thing, even when you're not looking.
So wait a minute. So
if you can find time to show up at a Planned Parenthood, and with pictures of aborted fetuses as women try to walk in, then you can also find one day to march against Iraq war. You could find one day to work at the homeless shelter. You can find one day to, but if you're not doing that, what I think is happening is that you've chosen something that you believe says more about you, and you really don't care about the fetuses. You care about what you stand for. And I think that's what the Supreme Court justices did. They're returning it to the states. They say, so it's very legal. But let's be honest. They pushed what is their moral view. They pushed it. And liberals do it too.
Right. But that's what my point though is that the same thing applies to people who see, beautiful broken wings in the LGBT movement, all these beautiful people who are and they're caring for LGBTQ people in this society that doesn't care for them. And then they walk by and they're not caring for the fetus at the abortion clinic. The same thing can apply. Is there's an inconsistency. Therefore, what the hell? It just all becomes chaos. Just because you see an inconsistency, what's that got to do with the principle? Do you think it's a life? Is a fetus
life?
Yeah. Sure. What is other people's weaknesses? I've only got 18 hours in a day to protest, so I choose abortion. What does that inconsistency have to do with the principle?
Okay, let's talk about strictly about the principle. Yeah, it's life.
Oh, this is interesting. Buckle in, guys.
Yeah, this one will show up in the comments for sure. That's what I'm about to say. Some life is worth more than other life.
Here we go.
Yep. Sorry. Some life is worth some more than other life. I said it. I know people on my side don't even want to say it's life in there. Something magical happens.
It's a
past the vagina, they get quickened, and all of a sudden
they get quickened at 9 months.
Yeah,
hey.
you guys started that idea. You
Well, there
guys
is a
started
quickening concept.
Yeah, and you started. There's a Bible verse about I breathed life into your first breath. That was when you really had life. The Bible is filled with instances of directions for giving abortion. The Bible is filled with God wiping out tribes of young kids.
I know.
God doesn't even know. God doesn't even know in what houses they are. You have to paint something on your door just so God knows where all the kids are, and then He wipes them out. Sodom and Gomorrah.
I know, but
Samson,
you're not understanding the narrative.
Samson buries the Philistines. Oh, there's always a narrative. So why can't my narrative be that I don't want this baby?
Oh, it can.
That's my narrative. Okay. So
But
why
the
can't
only
my
thing
narrative
is-
be when I'm 90 years old and shitting in my pants, and I've got nobody left? Why can't my narrative be that I'd like to take a couple pills and drift off?
Well, the question is, you can do that. You can do both.
No, but I know I can do it. But why are those inherently evil? And the other examples I brought up, not.
Well, because all the actions of your life, according, wait, hold on. Let me try to, I don't know if I can get this right. All the actions of your life are either bringing you toward fulfillment or total symbolos, a unity with the creator, or they're moving you away. They're moving you toward diabolos.
In your estimation, yes.
No, in every estimation of every human ever. Either you're moving towards something like what you were meant to be, or you're moving away. And so you guys do that too. The atheists are so good at that.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Number one, all these atheistic university people, you should move toward a fuller intellectual understanding of yourself through the reading of this book that I wrote about postmodern. And shut the up. Give me a break.
Is that how my side talks?
That's your side. No, you just have a set of philosophical principles you want me to imbibe so I can live closer to your image. I get it already. The question is, which image should we move toward? So I'm telling you, there's an image. Okay. Now, you got an image, I got an image. What I'm saying is
okay. The
question for you is,
and one image has to win.
Well, no, that's what life is. It's a conversation about which image is more beautiful. So how is
imposition of which image is we're going to impose?
That's awesome. Or which image comes naturally out of the culture of the people who are living. So for instance, in the Georgian Republic, for many, many thousands of years, it wasn't, you're not going to have somebody go like this. Well, I've thought about it, and the fetus really isn't a human. Everyone just would have gone, there wasn't any traction for that, because then there was a natural understanding in that little country of Orthodox Christians that, what are you talking about, dude? Now, I know what you're saying. Well, he doesn't have freedom of thought. Whatever. People thought often that
why does my side always talk in a strange accent? Really.
I made your side like really white. Have you ever noticed that? Why are they really white?
Yes,
they're very light people.
If you make us sound Indian, it doesn't have
it's not cool.
heft. You don't feel. At least make it sound British. That sounds
right. I can do that, but I can't be like, don't worry about it. We find a way to make it. We don't like abortion in India. That's not bad. Abortion is wrong, Seth. People know it.
This is a cancel. You are getting.
Wait, hold on. What, comedians do accents? What? I don't get it. Now I'm suddenly canceled. Come on. I did a white person. Okay, hold on. This is my final point. Is I don't think it's an argument, or it's not a power play. For me, what it is Orthodox Christians should live according to their principles, and then that fruit will bear change. So I'm not trying to change the laws. That's why I don't know that a law change on this is going to be great for America, because you really do have 50% of people who are like, I think you got more Republicans than Democrats actually saying like, whoa, hold on a minute. We're going to outlaw abortion from my really smart daughter who keeps sleeping with her boyfriend. Yeah, I don't think people want that deep down. But that's a problem with the culture. That's not a problem with these Supreme Court justices. To me, it's a problem.
It's a problem in both cases. It's a problem with the culture that there is no complete understanding of one narrative or the other.
Yeah.
Obviously, it would be easy if everybody believed in the same thing. But the practicality is that they are making laws that are going to, and now this is a law, talk about vaccine mandates, whatever. This is a law that is going to rip the country apart. And so we are not bringing people together like you've.
It feels very similar to the mandates.
And
to me.
Yeah, for sure. And so, and what it's going to beg are uncomfortable questions about asking people to not live hypocritically. For instance, what are if it's against the law, we're talking strict law now, to have an abortion because life is precious, then I would assume that everybody agrees that the murderer should be put to death. And
I don't know those two go together.
Okay. So
the murderer should be punished, maybe, but why is it got to be death?
Well, you took a life. I don't think
anybody's claiming that the doctor who aborts the baby should get his head chopped off.
I'm talking about the mother. The mother.
And the mother's not actually doing the thing in the case. She's allowing it to be done.
Okay, what if she does it? What if she does it herself?
Well, there's culpability there if it's a life.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so then, if you're going to be honest, you have to say that there has to be a penalty for that. And so you see what your side is doing, or the side that supports this ruling is trying to get around that uncomfortable inevitability by saying, well, it'll be the doctor, but we understand for the woman it's a tough situation, and that's such a cop-out. It's a huge cop-out. If they had any integrity, they would be saying, because you see them on this floors of the Congress saying, every life is precious. We believe in this. They should be saying, and because we believe in retribution and an eye for an eye, we learned it from our good book, we are going to put that person to death.
They didn't learn it from the good book. But anyway, hold on. So let me ask you something. Why can't it be that? No, I don't know. This is a great thing, but you don't live in Alabama. I don't get why Alabama, if it makes its law, it's not being hypocritical. The lawmakers and the majority of the public feel that it's a bad idea to allow people to have it. Why won't you just let Alabama do its thing?
So you're really going from, you said we need to talk about the principle, and now you're talking about a states' rights argument or something like this?
Well,
come on.
No, I would, because
I'll tell you why.
Why would you, a practical secularist, be against that? You suddenly have a universal vision of equality or something?
Because what happened is, it's because the framers, for all the good things they did, they devised a system that is now turned on itself and is on a march to destruction. They made it that in their zeal to protect minority rights, they made it now that once you have established power, you cannot change the course. And that's gone over the things. Now with gerrymandering and how state legislatures draw the maps, and they're the ones that are ending up sending people to Congress so that they can, you can look in just an abortion. It's 70% of the people don't want this to happen, don't want this law to happen, but 50% of the people, the states it will be illegal. So 30% of people.
And your reason for not liking the state by state idea is because I think something universal you don't want. There's something you're holding up high.
I think what happens is that if you're going to restrict that, then there's lots of other stuff that's going to go, and you know it, and I know it. just like gay marriage. The same argument will be made for that.
Yeah. Well, you're in a
yeah.
Yeah, but
So what happens is that this country will be ruled by your morality.
no, it'll be state by state. You'll be safe in Chicago. Don't worry.
It'll be ruled by the morality of the few people who were granted faith from God. Right?
What? Why? That's not going to happen in Chicago. It's not going to happen in California with the staunch.
So I should be
lawmakers.
Right. So I should just retreat to a place that's safe for me.
Well, I personally don't think so. I'm trying to figure out why you like I can say this, guys, people listening, and then we're going to finish up with some comment. Seth's not moving to Tennessee anytime soon. Okay. And it's not because of schmamortion. It's because there's nothing about that culture that you want to imbibe except for maybe some cool music in Nashville. Like, that's not your mojo. But suddenly they want to do an anti-abortion law, and now you're like up in arms. I don't get it.
So what you are saying is that there really should be a separation in this country.
What I'm saying is that the law does allow for that in terms of the confederal nature of our government.
And that's what I'm saying. And that's why I'm saying that the framers put in motion something that took 240 years to get to this point, and now we're rolling downhill
towards something like a breakup, right?
Correct.
Well, I mean,
I believe that firmly.
Well, why don't you just let it roll out then?
Well, no, I mean, I want to, because I need to know, or at least, and this is vanity or whatever it is, but I'd like to know that I fought to my dying day for the years, that 80 years that my daughters are going to live after I'm gone. And so
I know, but I call Andrew, but I call bull. You have a value. It's not about your daughters. You value something about this independence or freedom or rationality, and you're holding that high up. And all I'm telling you is some people around you in the same community, the same culture called America, are holding up a different value. What's the problem? I don't get it. So let them hold it up. And then you go like, I don't hold that value.
Because my value does not affect them. Their values affect me.
Again, come to the hills of South Carolina and ask them what they think about your value called public education and how they can't talk about Jesus's resurrection in their school. They feel your value is holding them down. Just telling you.
Go to it. They can.
Yeah, you can go to a different state and get your precious abortion.
Are you telling me that you think that education, people are going to say, is a value that half the population doesn't get behind?
No, secular education. Yeah, about half. It's playing out in the States. What you really have is I just want to say this. What you have that I'm telling you, people are not recognizing, but they're waking up to it right now, especially this subculture on the internet. None of this is about politics. None of this is about like Trump. Everything that's happening in this country in America is the tattered remains of what amounts to is an old world, new world divide about what is the highest value. And is there a God? And is God the keeper of the value? Is God the container for that which is highest? Yeah, that's the thing at play right now. Sure. And now
and because
that's the thing.
Right. And your side feels under attack because you believe the little minority that is represented on my side are in charge or something. It's
what? No, wait a minute. Hold on.
Or starting some slippery slope.
You're part of the world.
Godless people, think godless people are going to ruin the world for you.
No, hold on. Not
that
me.
we have the power to do it.
Not me. As an Orthodox Christian, I'm going to tell you, the world is lost.
Well,
I ain't fighting for it. Okay. I don't care about it. You make your laws and I'll just,
that's
you
why
tell
I
me
love
when
you.
I got to take the, you tell me when I got to take the bullet, bro. I'm not doing that with you right now. You're going to make me this dude.
But
I don't give a damn about what laws you make or what democracy you have, whether you have a monarchy. I do not care at all.
That's
you do your thing, man. Do your thing.
Yeah.
Make your
unfortunately,
politics.
Unfortunately, United States is not ruled by a bunch of Orthodox people.
Well, unfortunately for you, it would look something like some sort of confederal monarchy, some weird thing that you would be like, oh boy, they're coming for me and my evolutionary curriculum. By the way, that's our next talk. This evolution thing, it's dying, right?
Yeah, that's the point of evolution. We are dying.
Here's a comment. This was from tying loose ends up with Uncle Seth.
Dumb thing.
Oh.
I'm sorry that we didn't delve deeper into the monster concept because
I thought it was good.
I do want to say again that, yeah, I'm a monster too. And I think that the fact that I took some pleasure in some vile racist people knowing that he's a vile racist. I didn't firebomb his restaurant, but to just make it known that this is a racist here. Maybe we should just have signs on the window. The fact is, in that society, he would just be trying to hide his sign so that he could get people in there that wouldn't frequent somebody, wouldn't want to do business with somebody who's a racist. He's hiding it. So we're just saying this is what it is. Continue to do business with him if you want.
Well, okay, but
he finds out that a lot of people don't want to do business with racists.
Well, you just have a hierarchy of illness. So that illness is very high on your list. But what cracks me up about Americans, including you, bro, is like, hey, man, I was in this guy's business and all he was talking about was acquiring another business and my apartment I live in. And then he was going to charge a really high rent so he could get another place. I love that guy. What a businessman. He's really an up and coming guy. No, is greedy. Okay. That's what that is. That's what that is. And everyone's like, he's a really go-getter. No, he's not. He's going to charge massive interest so he can buy another building and kick you out.
But you don't
what a guy.
That up. You don't get that.
How come you're not tearing that guy to shreds? Tear that guy to shreds.
How come you're not tearing that guy to shreds?
I think I just did. I probably got canceled now. I'm going to get canceled. Like all of Trump's friends are going to cancel me.
Yeah. You can be pissed about abortion, but do not go there, dude.
But you guys got to admit on your side, like, as long as Jeff Bezos is backing our move to unite women against the patriarchy, he's number one. No, that dude, what? Really? That's the guy? Oh, Lord.
I know.
It's not cool. I don't get it.
That's
all right.
Not great. It's not great.
From Brian Bob, this is a while ago, but Seth is difficult to take on this whole thing about, this was, you guys, we were talking about community. The group think is very strong with this one.
I love it. Says the religionist. I'm really strong with groupthink.
It's just his name's just Brian.
I don't know anything about him. Well,
I don't know if he's a religionist.
Anybody that would take the time to listen to me speak for an hour is someone who wants to find contradiction and who wants to. But the groupthink with me is strong. Give me a break. Well, you guys, your whole tradition is groupthink. Your whole thing is built on tradition. You train
that's
people
next
to think.
Week. That's guys. We can't deal with this guy. Here's Matthew. He says, interesting conversation, guys, from our last one. But why do atheists assume that the main point of religion is to lead a moral life? That's not the main point.
Again,
he's right.
Again, you guys think that because every time I turn around, you'll tell me, well, how will I know what the good is without God? How will I? Isn't it just, again, the nihilist wasteland? Don't you say that to me every single time?
I know, but that's
so
the point. The point of religion, the point of the thing that holds us together is so that we may become fully what we are meant to become, which is united with God. That's the point of our existence. And so
the reason that my side would get the idea is that your side is always telling us that we aren't living a moral life. So of course we got the idea that you guys that's your mission.
I'm gonna tell you honestly, I think people listening, at least because you're so kind to come on, as you're like the little sacrificial lamb. We tie the little bell around and send you out into the desert. But I mean this, people listening to this, you don't have that right. The point of all of this is to simply become in alignment with, it's about telos. It's about becoming fully what we're supposed to be. It's not about your morality, man. I don't care what you do. Like, it's not relevant to me. What's relevant is what should I do in order to become fully human? And then that's what's happening. Jacob says, okay. Love you, Seth. You make this pod so interesting. Don't think we agree on anything, but I love you all the same.
That's nice. I like Jacob. Even though he doesn't agree with me, he said I was nice. So that's nice to get it's refreshing to have somebody.
That was a nice one.
It's lonely out here, man.
That was a nice one. Here's one more.
Yeah, that was very nice. That was nice.
Want to hear one more?
Yeah.
This was I thought this was a good one. This is Uncle Seth Calculates Death. That was a while ago.
Oh, yeah.
This one, Uncle Seth's a good guy. This is the best Uncle Seth episode, in my humble opinion. That was when you were vulnerable.
Because I was vulnerable. That's right. That's right. I try to be vulnerable every time. If I just try to be honest, and I think that is vulnerability. That was a hard episode, obviously. So
I know.
I hope that
it was pretty impressive, though.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's tough. This one's tough.
That's good.
This one's
I like
why is Seth actually dressed like Abraham Lincoln? It seems fitting somehow. Do you remember when you were dressed up as Abraham Lincoln?
Yeah, for Halloween. Halloween. It was one of my best costumes. It's fitting somehow. Where's the burn there?
I think the burn is, you ready? You ready for some subterranean Orthodox podcast stuff? I
am really interested in seeing.
Yes, I'm going to tell you, this isn't even really Orthodox. This is actually more like deep red state stuff. Is that Abraham Lincoln is sort of asserts himself in history as like the first great Federalist who holds the country together by sacrificing the confeds and all of those sort of little mealy-mouthed Southern arguments about life. And so he becomes kind of the first in a long line of would-be federal kings. And so you, with your Abraham Lincoln outfit, you express something like a kingly idea about how everyone should act, meaning you have a centralized sort of concept of how life should be led. Hence your support of vaccine mandates. What about that?
Okay. First of all, was this from the Dead one also? Calculates Death?
No, this was Election Day special.
Oh, okay. So this was before all this vaccine mandate. So I think that while that was a real indictment of my Halloween costume, I think that guy just was probably thinking that Abraham Lincoln's a Republican and Seth is a Democrat.
Oh, you think it was that simple?
Level. I think that's level. Yeah.
No,
I really believe that. I don't know. Was
so?
That Jacob, or Jacob said something nice? Who said that? What was that guy's name?
That guy was, I lost it. All Heart gave you all hearts up, all thumbs up.
Oh, good. Okay.
All right. Last one. When Seth pushes John, whether the two of them, quote, are the same in the way they behave, John did Seth a huge disfavor in answering in the affirmative. John has a completely different metaphysics from Seth. He should not do an equality thing there. We're not the same, buddy.
But he's saying you did a disservice to me.
I did a disservice to myself by saying, yeah, we're the same. My mom, she always thought the same too. God rest her soul.
Right. I remember this. It's because if we're acting exactly the same, but our whatever philosophies behind it are different, that makes you better.
Well,
that's what they're saying. That's what they're. And your mom said that too.
Yeah.
Cheers to your mom. Here's to your mom.
Oh yeah.
Let's have a drink to John Heers' mom, who's passed.
Katerina's Gagi Marjos.
Gagi Marjos.
Well, let's say we'll see you in 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, I'll be around. I'll be.
Are you good?
I'll be Summer Seth in 6 weeks.
Oh yeah, I'm trying to get myself together. We got a lot going on here, restaurants, all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, that's great. If anybody's in Chicago on Father's Day, my band is playing.
I know.
I'd love to have you
give another shout out to Hilltop.
I can't do a podcast without the shout out. We're playing Hilltop is playing a Taste of Randolph on Father's Day. Really, really great fair and really perfect day to play it. So
I know it's big time. That's a big deal.
June 19th,
well, you guys are great. You got everybody back on board. The harmonizing leads.
Yeah, we're full. Yep, we're full force, and we love each other, as I always say. But we really do.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. All right, ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Seth is back.
Thank you, everybody.
We made it through.
It was a lot of fun.
I thought we had what we call a good proper love fight. I like it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, Seth Rahman, Uncle Seth in Chicago. We'll see you in about 6 weeks. Something will happen. Here's a question. Sure. Did you put up a Ukrainian flag? Because we're all Ukrainian.
I am Ukrainian.
I know.
You forget that.
That's our next conversation.
No, I didn't put the flag up.
You actually could have, because your mom is Ukrainian.
I know I could have, but then I just don't want to be lumped in with these people.
Those are
I know. They're my people. They're my people.
All right. Awesome. Yeah. Peace out. Till next time. Well, there goes Uncle Seth. Sheni's Gagi Marjos to you, Seth. This is Watar Nakvamdis. Au revoir. Jusqu'à la prochaine fois. Nawe. That's Haitian Creole. Peace out.